Okay. All right. So, guys, Direct Kathy, that is her, the legend. Three of the top five movies of all time in Philippines, including Hello Love Again, was directed by her. And Marvin and I got to work with her on Hello Love Again, and she is incredible, incredible. Even to the color of shirt you're wearing. But without further ado, I want to introduce you to two of the stars of this incredible new film. I mean, they wouldn't sign up to this if it wasn't amazing. Please welcome one of the kindest human beings you will see and meet, Mr. Piolo Pascual, and also one of the great stars of ABS-CBN as well, Belle Mariano. Please give a round of applause. Oh, you guys can do better than that. Let's do it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the United States, Belle Pascual.
Hi everyone.
All right, you guys want to say hi?
Hello!
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for taking your time out to be with us. And yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello.
No, I can't hear you.
Hi everyone. How are you guys?
What's up, Belle Mariano?
I love the energy. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Um, Everyone here is so excited because they also are excited to talk to you, just not as stars, but also as human beings, no?
Of course.
I don't go there.
Well, let's start with the human being question. Piolo,
What is
I've-
your favorite color?
what is your... Do you like long walks on the beach?
Park.
And guys, I've heard the legend that is Piolo Pascual, not just because he's famous, right, but because of the people that he's worked with. So every single person that I know that has worked with him has said, you will not encounter a kinder, sweeter, better-hearted human being to work with. So don't be afraid to ask your questions and talk, right? And would you agree with that, Belle?
Yeah. Yeah, I have so many comments. Joke lang. He's really the best. He's so nice on set, and it's such a delight to work with him.
And I could really see that. I mean, I've worked with Inigo on Homestead, and he was also such a good human being. So it takes.
Takes two to tango.
Yeah. Or the apple does not fall far from the tree.
I hope
Diba?
so. I hope so.
And then, so how's Belle on set?
Oh, well,
Excuse me.
Ikaw lang yan.
Ako lang ba? Hello?
yeah, we can hear you. Belinda, surprisingly, being the youngest, she was one of the reasons why we stuck together. She keeps us together. It's hard because you're the only girl, but she was like one of the boys, and she's a breath of sunshine. When she comes to the set, she makes sure she hangs out with us. She makes sure that she's always with us. She checks up on us. Even we have a group chat, the whole family, and yeah, she's our baby.
Nice.
Electric man.
All right, so this is about, like, we're all here to talk about the Filipino identity, right? And our culture and letting and so much more, and family. And what is it to you to be able to represent our culture around the world? What does that mean to you?
Well, I feel like this film also is a celebration for us Filipinos, most especially this month, right? We're celebrating
Filipino History Month.
Yeah,
Woo!
guys. And it's such a privilege for us to be able to showcase this film, just representing Filipinos. It really brings up our flag more, and I'm so proud of it.
Well, I guess for me, it's not just about being Filipino, but knowing your identity is a big factor as to how you can be more comfortable about who you are in your skin. For us, it's easy because we're from the Philippines. I know it's harder for you guys, right, in terms of identity, because like yesterday we were in Vancouver. It's hard for them identify with the Filipinos because some of them were born and raised in Canada, and it's hard because they don't know their roots. But it's important for you to know that because that is your identity, to be able to know where you're from, what you are, and what you represent.
And I'm gonna be honest, like I grew up in San Diego and I was almost kind of ashamed to be who I was, and I'm
Yeah, yeah.
making that up for it now.
Mm.
And I feel, and let me know if that's how some of you guys felt growing up when you're surrounded by people who kind of don't really want you to talk about your culture. That's important. And I see some people. Tell me about a time in your life where you weren't proud to be Filipino. Have you ever felt that?
No.
That's nice. Yeah.
Because
How about
only
for-
goes for the second generation.
Yeah, for the people that were born here. Was there ever a time that you were kind of like, oh, maybe I don't want to talk
It's
about?
hard to talk about it because you don't even know your roots, right? Okay, so let's open the.
Hi guys. Hi. I feel strongly with what you said, right? So firstly, I was born in the Philippines, but I moved when I was 10 years old to Australia, then the East Coast, particularly New York City, and then California, where there's so many Filipinos here, being the second largest ethnic minority in California. But when I first moved to Australia and when I moved to New York City, you had to adapt. You had to kind of hide. And so I think we were talking about this earlier, which is my accent. It's gone. It's an American accent. So growing up, that was a huge thing, which was, oh, be American, don't be Filipino, right? But now it's changing, and it's beautiful how it's how we're celebrating culture, how things like Filipino American History Month exists, right? And so when you have something like that, and when you have a group of people like this celebrating and raising the flag, then I could say, ang sarap maging Pilipino.
Thank you, amen.
And it wasn't because I didn't know that I wasn't Filipino. It was because in school we had the cool Asians, and then we had the fresh off the boat Asians that they used to call. And so I should have stood up and said, no, we're all Filipino. We gotta treat each other equally.
Yeah, the landscape has changed. That's what he said. It's more accepting now.
Which is good, and it's good for us to tell our stories. All right, so let's talk about our Filipino families, right? I know we love poking fun of our mothers and sometimes, right, and our older fathers and parents, and the never-ending conversations of toxic relatives. What do you guys think about that?
Uy, pumapayat ka. Uy, tumataba ka. Tama ba?
So who's experienced that? Someone called you, oh, why are you getting fatter? How do you say?
May asawa ka
Tapat
na
Choy.
What other things are they saying to you guys? What other judgments are you getting from your family or toxic relatives?
Where's your boyfriend?
Oh, okay. What were you?
Ay, hindi nursing.
Hindi nursing. I wish my mom was here.
Sayang, sayang.
I said that.
Or even Jokoy said that not only you should become a nursing, that instead of being a comedian. Jokoy said that too with his mom. Yeah.
With his mom. Yeah, exactly. So who here was supposed to be a Filipino nurse? Who here has had their parents even try to make them a Filipino nurse? Yeah. So,
He's trying to make them.
and some of us tried it,
My dad.
So, we talked about paano magmahal at magsakitan ang Filipino family. How do Pinoy families love and hurt each other, you think? How about you guys? Has there ever been a time in your lives where you felt that, hey, sometimes we can hurt each other the worst,
Yeah.
especially as family
You know
members?
what, just to add to that, I believe that because the more you love, right, mas masakit siya. Because, this is your family, this is your bloodline, and if you love them so much, they have that capability and power to hurt you more. And I think in our case at least, with sibling love. It applies to that what we say, the more you hate, the more you love. We have that type of relationship in this film. So does any one of you guys relate to that?
And tell us about a
Yeah.
time where you have felt that you were being judged, and it kind of got a little toxic, and hurt your feelings a little bit, and how you were able to deal with it together. Anybody?
This is about you guys now. And the floor is yours.
This is not all about the identity with the Filipino community. It might affect to any different human races too. It could be with the African Americans. It could be with the white Americans. It could be with different Asians. It could be with different even American Indian. Anything about the unfortunate circumstances with all of us here, human beings, the relationship. We still need to get there. We need to get our crap together before it's too late. How about that, guys?
Thank you, Zion. All right, anyone? Don't be shy just because Piolo and Belle are in front of you. Because, earlier you guys were so talkative, huh? Open up. Come on. Zion. Okay, Didi. Have you had a time? Shout out for Didi, guys. All right, they all introduced themselves to each other kanina. All right, talk to us about a time where you felt a little too judged by your family.
That's very personal. But yes, I lived that life. Hello everyone, like a typical Filipino parent, they want you to pursue what they want, right? A structure, follow your education. But coming here in America gave me an opportunity to fight for a want. As you know, yes, I won Miss Asia USA, but that journey was from the root of pursuing what I love, which is very rare to be in a Filipino. I'm the only Filipino belly dancer and fire dancer in LA and OC, and that took a lot of pain because I am an artist who is very foreign to an Asian art, and I'm Filipino too. But I carry, that's why I'm shaking, because that really, like, the 15 years of being here in America is so deep and so painful that I come to finally find my spot as an artist. It's not common. It's easy to be a singer, yes, because we're a Filipino, but as an Oriental belly dancer, or it's actually called Oriental dancer, I fought the battle alongside with other communities, and that's why I'm showing up as much as I can for the community, because when I was on that journey, I was alone. I didn't have any Filipino friends. I had to make new friends because I don't even have my immediate family in America. And I'm grateful for the Filipino roots that were taught with good values. That was the only thing I have when I came here, when everything was failing, like the community. And with other nationalities, I found that there's a commonality of us being human is to have the family values and valuing family, and that really also helped me navigate to different communities. And but because I was pursuing what I love, because I have a greater vision and love for myself, and also uniting with other communities, because I pursued an art which is always mistaken because it's feminine, it's sexualized all the time. But yes, I have my background, I'm a nurse, I have all of these now, but that process was very painful because I was not pursuing a passion. I was toxic, and I didn't want to go home like not winning and fighting for what I love. So, but I'm grateful. I'm here now, and I just want to be support and really heal. I think my journey now is helping others relearn or reset what it is with our generational pains. And thank you.
Does anyone else want to talk about Daisy? Guys, we met Daisy earlier. Please give her a no. Good vibes.
Hello all. I just want to pick.
It's better to stand up, please.
Okay, I will be here. So, hi. I just want to piggyback what Belle told us. everybody can relate on that one. Like, oh, payat ka na. Oh, mataba ka. Yung isa, somebody said like, oh, why not nursing? Everybody heard that from our parents, right? And then I said that to my daughter as well. So why we said that as a parent? Because it's family. It's easy for us to talk to our family, to our children, right? But then by saying that one, it means love. We always argue in the family. There's always black sheep in the family. We can talk whatever we wanted, but that's love because we care for our family. And then this meet, greet, and buy, uh, it shows the family love all togetherness. So don't be shy, don't be afraid to say something to your family because they're the one who's going to direct you to the great path of your career. So for all the young kids right here, listen to your parents at all times. Okay?
A different perspective.
Your mom is looking at
Oh, my mom's
You lazy.
watching.
So what do you guys think of that? Do you listen to your parents?
Oo, kasi nandiyan yung mommy ko.
Saan?
Nandiyan po siya sa likod.
Hi, mommy.
But yeah, I agree. I think there's nothing compared to mother's love, and yeah, I do believe that if a person loves you, they want the best for you, and
Correct.
I know that my mom wants the best for me. Wow.
It's a different case for me, I guess, because my son, as he was growing up, he's always wanted to be an artista. But I said, finish your school, get a degree, and then decide for yourself. So when they're young, of course, you have to guide them through, but when they reach a certain age, it's up to them as to what they want to do with their lives. So that was for me.
Can I just add to that? I think what's so cool is that there's a thing that I call freedom with guidance. That's at least how my mom raised me. She gives me the freedom to decide for myself, but she guides me towards what's right. So I have that thing called freedom with guidance.
Nice. Very nice. So, Leo, you brought your 4 kids here today. And we were all introducing each other kanina. What is it like to be here and now and talking about parents and children and what you want for them?
Yeah, being a parent here in America is really tough, right? But one thing I think is the faith. When you have the faith in God, that He is the center of your family, everything never goes wrong, and I never doubt of that. And I have 4 boys and 1 girl, and they love the Lord, all their hearts, and they've been raised like as a complete Filipino culture. They've been exposed like our values, how we raise as a family, and I give glory to God for all these things that.
Amen. Amen.
All right, now, okay, now that we talked about Leo,
That's a good
Okay.
start.
are they gonna be able to answer me when their dad's right
Yeah,
there?
right, yeah.
Is this gonna be truthful?
Yeah, gotta be.
He said
Nice.
no.
Come on, my mom's here too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
No pressure.
this is Luke.
Yeah.
All right, Luke. All right, what was it like growing up being Filipino and here in America?
Yeah, like what my dad said. Yeah, we grew up pretty much Filipino. Like, even growing up, they'd speak to us in Tagalog and stuff, and we're always surrounded by like the Filipino culture, especially in our church. We always had like the little gatherings, like a birthday party every weekend, all that stuff, festivals all the time. But growing up here, I didn't really feel that like I wasn't a part of everyone else. I still felt Filipino because of like how I was raised, and just I don't know. I'm proud to be Filipino. So
You're Filipino, man.
And that's what's really cool about the younger generation is like they're proud of the skin they're in. you know. And then how about yourself? What was your name again? Luella. I knew that. Luella, what was the hardest part about growing up Filipino and American at the same time? And what is it and how is it today?
Um, yeah, I like to say my personal experience. I was very blessed. I was very blessed because it all started in the home. As my kuya said, we grew up very Filipino. I think our parents did a very great job raising us right, and yeah, just being really in tune with our culture and surrounding us with a Filipino community where I never felt like an outcast. So yeah, I'm just very blessed and to have my parents.
So there were no hard parts about in the culture and in school or anything for you.
No, fortunately, yeah, I had a lot of Filipino friends, and also growing up in the church with a big Filipino community, and that it felt like another home there as well.
Nice. Round of applause for a great family and community. Because, sometimes some of us don't have that, right? Some of us grew up where there weren't a lot of other Filipinos. When I was in New Jersey, I was the only Filipino out of the entire school. So has anyone experienced something like that where they had to fight to keep their culture? All right. Guys, this is Patrick. Remember Patrick?
Hello. So I feel like something that I don't really see too much. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from South San Francisco, Daly City area. And if you know anything about Daly City, it's the largest Filipino population. So I never felt like an outcast, right? Until I moved here to LA. And then I showed up to work. I'm not only the only Filipino, I'm the only Asian person. It's all pute. So I never felt ashamed or outcasted growing up because we are the majority. But in like Hollywood and films, something great about like Filipino films is that like Asian American identity is not there because it's Asia. Like you said, it's people who look like you, so the stories get to be about the stories. But when I came here to LA trying to like make movies, it's you're trying to show like your culture but also tell the stories. I don't know if I'm making any sense here. I'm rambling now. But
No, you're not. You're good, man.
yeah, it's so cool to see I don't know, just Asian American, Filipino American stories, especially when you get injected into like a Hollywood thing and you don't see your people. So it's really cool to see everybody, to hear Tagalog again. I don't hear it enough. And thanks for letting me ramble.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. Belle, Piolo, do you guys see a difference between like Filipino and Filipino American kids and families?
Oh yeah, definitely. It really depends where you are. I mean, like in the States, it's different. When they go back to the Philippines, they still feel like an alien because they don't speak the language, right? That's why it has to be embedded. Like I commend the household because even if they were in the States, it starts from the parents. How you raise them. So in the Philippines, some of them also speak English, but some of them haven't even gone to the States. It really starts from the house. If you're raised well, if you're raised by uh, your parents in a Christian way, in a Filipino way, then it's not gonna leave you. For me, there's no any difference because my mom was always instilled in us, the Filipino culture, tradition, and values. And that's something that's deeply embedded in our culture, the Filipino values. And what's good is, the second generation is able to experience that through their parents because of how they were raised when they were in the Philippines. And hopefully it continues even to the third generation.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think for me at least, it's so nice to see us here being gathered, just eager to know our identity and our culture. And it's just so nice that we all have that sense of curiosity in it and to know more about who we are.
Nice, nice. Hi. What's your name?
Asia.
Hi, Asia. Say hi, Asia.
What's up, Asia?
So I kind of wanted to share a bit of a different perspective. not only like being a mixed Filipino, I'm Black and Filipino, but my mom's family is also indigenous. We're Igorot from Baguio. And I kind of wanted to share a different perspective because when I was growing up here in the States, even when I was in Filipino communities, it was a very different Filipino culture. I remember one time we went to, I think it was Cal State Long Beach, and we saw like the Filipino student organization doing tinikling. And I remember asking my mom, like, oh, what is this? I've never seen this before. I used to live in the Philippines. I used to live in and go to school in Baguio when I was 11 years old. But we don't speak Tagalog up there, we speak Ilocano. The only time I heard Tagalog was on TV, so I never learned how to speak Tagalog. And so going back to the story, we went to Cal State Long Beach and they were performing tinikling. And I remember asking my mom, like, what is this? I've never seen this before. And she said, oh, that's not our culture. Because in Baguio, as Igorots, we do tayaw. We have a different dance. And so that was kind of an interesting thing to experience and grow up with, not only as someone who is a mixed Filipino, but also someone who's indigenous, because a lot of the Filipino culture that I saw here in the US was very Tagalog centric. And so I never understood my indigeneity. I didn't understand what being Igorot meant until I talked to other Filipino Americans and I realized just how different but also very similar the cultures were. Like, we're still Filipino, you know what I mean? There's still like an overarching Filipino culture and community, but I felt still a little ostracized even within the Filipino community. Just a really weird story I wanted to share. A few years ago, I went to an event. It was a Filipino American History Month event. And I was talking to someone who was like my age. It was also a young Filipino American. And I told them that I was Igorot. And there's a lot of stereotypes about Igorots in the Philippines. And I remember he said, oh, do you have a tail? Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I was a Filipino American. And so like these are kind of like the stereotypes and like the mentality that a lot of even younger Filipinos and even Filipino Americans like get from their parents or get from other sources of media. So that's why I think representation is so important and kind of why I champion representation and visibility, especially for indigenous communities in the Philippines. I think it's super, super important.
Do you think that there is like a level of like colorism in our community, and is that something that you faced? I guess you faced that, and how were you able to deal with it, and how did it feel?
So in 2016, I actually created a viral movement called #MagandangMorenex, and I talked about my experiences growing up in the Philippines as someone who was darker skinned and someone who was a mixed Filipino but wasn't mixed with white. All of my mixed white Filipino friends, whenever they go back to the Philippines, everyone tells them, oh, you should, become an artista, you can, do this and do that. No one told me that when I lived there. I was bullied for, when I was going to school, I was bullied by my classmates for having darker skin. I remember one time the teacher turned off the light so we could watch a movie, and one of my classmates said, oh, we can't see Asia anymore. So it was things like that, and, colorism is such a huge issue in Filipino communities. I do see it getting a little bit better with the younger generations. When I was growing up, all of the magazines and billboards were full of, skin whitening advertisements and things like that. But when I came back in 2022, I saw a lot less of the billboards there. So I do think it's a conversation that more people are getting more comfortable with having, but I think there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, just one more question for you. You're biracial. Was that an issue for you living here in America?
So I'm a military brat, so I've lived all over the place. There were certain parts of the U.S. where I felt definitely othered, and there were some communities where I felt totally at home. I used to live in Houston, Texas, which was predominantly Black and Latino, and there were I was one one half of two Asians in the school. And I felt very othered there, not only just being like one of the only Asians, but being one of the only like mixed Black Asians. Growing up, there were not a lot of Black Asians in media. Now we have like her and Sweetie, like we have so many, but when I was growing up, there was like Apple Diab and Kimora Lee Simmons, and that was pretty much it. And so, you know, just being able to see so many more Black Asians and specifically Black Filipinos, because we're out here killing it in media right now. It's just like really, really cool to see.
Guys, round of applause for Asia. Guys, what do you think of what Asia brought up about the colorism that we sometimes put on each other as Filipinos and Filipino Americans?
Well, can I just tell her, you are so beautiful. Don't let anyone bring you down. And I think it starts here. It starts with us. You know, change starts with us. And it's so nice that we are all gathered here to just promote being a Filipino, being proud to be Filipino. Not in, you know, that way before, but it's about, it's now that we apply change. And acceptance, yes.
And acceptance.
I don't know if this will answer your question, but I am, as an actor, I want to champion Philippine cinema. So they've been asking me if I wanted to move to the States, try it out in Hollywood. I'm like, I don't think at this point I have to be in the States to be able to break out internationally, because if we have our own content and if we can showcase like this film the world, then we don't have to be westernized, because it's our identity. It's also good to represent what we have and not be influenced by others so that we can have a bigger film. I guess it's important for us to do our content and show it to the world and not be westernized.
Nice. All right, you guys, you can definitely give that a round of applause. That was nice, Fiona. So speaking of content, right? We have a lot of young folks here. Are you guys going to the movies? And what kind of content are you guys consuming? Because that's very important to know.
Sorry, I have a question. Because now we have because of the emergence of the streaming platforms, do we go to the cinema because of the film, or do we wait for that movie to be shown
Streaming platform.
on the streaming platform? Why do we go to the cinema? What kind of movies do we want to see and pay, and not just wait for it on Netflix or a streaming platform?
All right.
Okay, sorry, I'm not really media, but I'm a very active person in the Philippine community since the age of 5. First of all, I want to congratulate the two of you guys for bringing movies like this. These are the kind of movies that we are looking for, always been. And my first movie experience was around 1979. Back in the day, my parents were the first Filipino grocery store in Carson and West Covina and San Diego. And back in the day, there's no media, there's no social media, there's no Facebook, no email, not even a cell phone. And the only way you know what's up, and I'm sure I'm gonna ask Tito Leo if you agree with me, was 2 things. The church or the bank, correct? That is the only way you know what Filipino activities were happening. I wish my dad was here today to see this. We've come, you mentioned something about coming far along, because we certainly have. I'm first generation. I'm so proud to get my kids involved. They've been watching every Filipino movie I can bring. Anything we can always support ABS-CBN with their premieres at Cinema Carson, all that stuff. And trust me, I would send texts and promote and everything because they're looking for it. Yeah. They're always looking for it. I felt bad because my best friend's son, Andres Mulak, their movie didn't get promoted. No one knew about it, that it was screening here for 3 days. No one knew about it. And I do believe, and I know everybody in this room has been putting their foot forward in making sure that it is transcended out there so that they can come out and watch. And I applaud you, Piolo, because I'm sure that is a big question always asked to you, because you are one heck of an actor of all, whatever, comedy, love story, Gonzaga. My kids were like, oh my gosh, mommy, like, they've been attending the Manila International Film Festival and they love it. And they're like, Mom, how come there's not more people attending this stuff? Like their classmates and everything. And I told them, that's your job now, to let people know. And then I told them, you need to know your history. And I go, here's the history of your lolo. Your lolo was the first grocery store, and back in the day, promoters will come, producers of the show, of the movie, will come. My first Filipino movie was John and Marcia. Or no, I'm sorry, Ang Tatay Kong Nanay by Dolphy. That's when I fell in love with Nino Mulak and all that stuff, because I was like, oh my gosh, I was learning Tagalog. My parents had a strict rule. I was born and raised here, spoke English in school and everywhere else until a customer said, Makanong per kilo itong sitaw. And my action was, huh? To a lola. And my dad wanted to slap me. And he said, okay, from now on, puro Tagalog lang. Dito sa tindahan, sa restaurant, at sa bahay. Mag-English ka na magsawa sa eskwelahan with your friends. But when it comes to this, pure Tagalog. You're learning Tagalog. I never learned to read and write it, but I understood it, and I would just spell it out when I write letters to my relatives. But the fact is, back in the day, just to get a cinema film, okay, it had to be how many grocery stores, people passing out black and white printed flyers at the cars when the cars would come out from church. And we would have like 3 months, 6 months in promotion. And all they asked my dad was, Tito Ray, Mr. Rojas, Mang Ray, can we leave these flyers? And all we ask you is to put this flyer in the grocery bag or when they give the change, just so that customer can see, what's up, what's the community event.
Right.
Same thing with festivals. It was grassroots guerrilla marketing back in the day. And that was my first movie, and I fell in love with it. And since then, we even got involved with renting out the Betamax and VHS for Regal Films. I mean, I used to have all those movies. I remember telling Pops Fernandez, Pops, Pipay, I have your movie, your first movie called I'll Wait For You with Roel Santiago. She's like, how'd you get that? And I said, because we used to rent it out. But going back to everything is that it is our responsibility, and I'm so glad that this movie is coming out. I saw the trailer 3 times since I spoke to Micah when we spoke about the food and all that stuff. And then so my daughter's like, what is it about, Mom? And I said, you know what? This is gonna tug your heart. I go, it's about family. And she goes, is it gonna talk about being a dysfunctional family like we are? And what she meant by we are is because of my brothers and sisters. As you know, sadly, tell me there's not a single relative here who you are in fight with your cousin, brother, sister, all because of land in the Philippines, or of inheritance, or sadly that's the root of our dysfunction. But at the end of the day, like you said, family, and in what you said, it starts from home, and that's why I always make it a point to my kids. And it's funny, the other day I just told them, guys, you need to understand why Lola and Lola left the Philippines. They were a doctor and a lawyer, but they came here with, typical story, 2 suitcases, maybe $100 and not $5, but they built their own name in the community. And that's why you guys need to continue to build what it is, because it is changing for them. They are being tugged away from being Filipino American. But at the same time, I'm so proud. If you were to ask, Jason's here, right? I think I spoke to Jason recently, and I said, Jason, have you noticed that we have so many Filipino American History Month activities? That was unheard of. Me growing up back then, oh my gosh, we would just wait for the next movie, wait for the next concert, and all that stuff. So anyway, thank you.
Shout out to Tres Marias for putting their money where their mouth is and providing us this delicious meal. Thank you so much. All right, so let's talk to the young, now that we've heard from our first generation. Second generation, where you at? All right, so they're a lot shyer, I think. So talk to us. What do you guys want to see now that it's available to you? And are you seeing it? To Piolo's question, are you seeing it in the theaters?
Which one?
To your question to them is, are you seeing it in the theaters or are you waiting for streaming? for it to come out?
Yeah. That was my question.
All right.
Sorry.
All right, Lemuel wants to answer. He just raised his hand. Come on, Lemuel, shout out.
I think when it comes to like movies, you go to the movies like because you can talk about with your friends like, oh, like everyone's talking about it, like did you see this already? So that's kind of why you go to the movies. And if you can like wait for it on the stream, it's because it's like no one's really talking about it. But like for Filipino movies like this, I feel like we always go because you watch it as a family. I feel like this is a family movie, and like growing up, we watch movies with our parents, and this is something you can watch with our parents. Like if we're watching like Avengers or Marvel or something, like my parents are sleeping or like they just don't come, so it's just us and our siblings. But if it's something like this, like our family's full, you know what I mean? And we can watch this as a family, and growing up, that's what we used to watch. Like nothing was really on the theater, so seeing that at like our Cinemark or like something local was cool because we would watch it just like VHS or something. Like our dad would rent it out and then we watched together. But the thing is, like we watch together, so like even with our busy lives, like an hour or something to watch at the theater is like it's still family time. And then I mean, there's like Filipino movies where it's like Kilig or like something, but like this is something you can watch together because as like a Christian family or like just family in general, you want something with like a lesson or like something you can take with you, something that's relatable, like something that tugs your heart. Like I feel like growing up I watched like all the Filipino movies, and there's like Kilig stuff, and like I feel like I learned Tagalog just from watching like Maala-ala mo kaya, and like, I love it just because there's like it's relatable. There's something you can learn from it, or you just want something real that you can, learn people's lives and like stuff like that. So I feel like this is a good movie. That Seven Sundays, like I love those kind of movies, and these are relatable because we have 3 boys and a girl in our family, so it's like if you can feel like put yourself in there and be like, oh, that's us, and everything that they talk there is like, that's like all true that everyone can say, like, like your relationships with your parents or your siblings, the fights, but at the end of the day, like that's who you can fall back to, especially like during COVID time. A lot of people had different situations, but for us, we were like all stuck in the house and our family was full again, and life got less busy, and then you realize you can't even see your friends, like you can't see, like you don't even have work, you just like we have to get back to family, and then so we're just like get closer again, we fight again as like older kids, and then but like at the end of the day, like like that's your family, you didn't choose them, but that's what God gave to you, and that's who chooses, that's who you learn to love, and that's who you learned how to love others.
Awesome. I have a question for you before you go. But okay, so it's great because Leo's a great parent. He's like, you gotta watch Filipino content. What are your friends at school? What do they do? How are they watching and consuming Filipino content? Is it going to be on streaming? Is it going to be in the movies? I mean, how do you get them to also watch this type of content?
I mean, the only way that they can watch it is, I guess, it's through us, or like it has to be through a Filipino, and then sometimes like I don't know. For me, I like.
Are they watching it? Are the Filipino American friends watching it?
My Filipino American, they're watching it, but I feel like they're not as integrated into the Filipino American community as me. So I feel like if what I post or something can like, influence people to check it out, or like they probably didn't even know about it.
All right, round of applause for Mel. All right, guys. Any other second generationers that talk? Daniel, do you want to speak to your experience about the content that second generationers are consuming and what they're looking for? Because right now we have Star Cinema's ear right here, right now. We have some executives here. Shout out to Miko Del Rosario, one of the bosses. And then so like, tell all of them. Well, what do we need to see so that we can get Lemuel's friends to see this content?
Yeah, so I am a avid movie watcher. I have the movie pass for the theaters, so I try to see things on the big screen as much as possible, and I think that's my favorite way to consume this content and to really learn about stories. And I think that's what it's all about, going to the movies. We see all these different kinds of movies, and what are they all? They're all stories about different things, of different people's experiences. And so now we're able to kind of get this experience to share our stories at a bigger stage. And so for like having friends, I had many friends also in the Filipino community that that I've danced singing with and stuff like that. But how I got them to kind of watch certain movies, I would talk about movies here that we grew up watching, American movies, animation like Disney and stuff like that. We'd get connected on those levels of movies. But then from what I had experience in watching, I actually had some of them come over. I kind of forced them to come over and watch Hello Love again, or Goodbye, not again. Because it wasn't out. It wasn't out yet. It wasn't out yet. And so, because I knew the movie was coming out, I'm like, let's watch the first one first. So then when it comes out to theaters, they can all go out and watch it. And so I do remember them telling me that they did watch it when they were back home. And so since I was away when I did come out here, but I was able to watch it in a theater out in Australia. So it was fun to see. And so, word of mouth, Filipino community is very strong. A lot of people talk. Facebook is a thing that my grandma and my mom are always on, and that's how they tell me about a lot of things that I don't know. But also, as someone who only been to the Philippines once, but actually last year was my first time, these stories are things that help me connect to the roots back home and allow us to connect to the Philippines that I can't afford or actually go to every day or live in. So it's my way of connecting as much as possible.
And this is the kind of content that you want Star Cinema to keep producing. But what other content would you personally, as Daniel, want to see Star Cinema create?
I think just a lot more stories. One thing that I will miss, I guess we'll have one more, but a Manny Pacquiao party. Growing up, I actually went to his fight back a while ago. It was pretty cool. But seeing him fight and represent the Filipinos on the greatest stage, and for him, it's like he's a superhero in a lot of ways, at least as an athlete. And so representing the Philippines in ways that aren't traditional. I know there's a lot of TV shows nowadays with Filipino nurses, but that's kind of stereotypical. And to get out of that stereotypical space is where I would love to see us excel.
And see the Filipino nurses not be in the background. Yes. We might have something coming up. All right.
Sorry about that. Can I have some warning about when we watch the new movies about? May I speak that in the microphone about that? Some warning advice. When you're watching inside the movie theater, you better not forget about some of the basic policies here. Number one, please do not take out your freaking smartphones while watching movie. How many times have been told you guys? Sorry about that.
All right, so we have only 5 minutes left. I want to give you guys, thank you. We love you, man. I love you. All right, let's ask Piolo and Belle some questions, and Piolo might have a question himself.
Yeah, I just have a follow-up on that because really our job here is to connect to the second generation, to the younger ones, because it's so easy to invite, of course, the first generation. They want to bring their families, their kids, but I appreciate the fact that you guys are interested to watch Filipino films, and I guess our job is done here. Because that's the reason why we want to be out here, not just to promote, but to also make sure that everyone knows what we are doing. We're not doing Hollywood films, we're doing Filipino films for us to be proud of and for us to be able to relate with. And with this movie, it's not just a representation of a culture, but it's It's a love story. It's a love letter to your parents. It's a love letter to your kids, and something that you can really be proud of, not just as a Filipino, but as a human being. You know, it will tug the heart for sure, but more than that, it will make you appreciate life even better. And I hope this it doesn't stop here. You know, we spend, of course, like this. We try to come up with films that has a global standard, and with your support, if you keep on supporting, then definitely we'll be able to do more movies like this.
Yes. Alyssa, another second generationer. Talk to us about what you'd like to see in the future and with this film.
Something that I'd like to see. I feel like every time I go to the movies and it's like a Filipino movie, I love seeing stuff about family or love stories. So I can't really think about anything else that I would wanna, what's Yeah, I do. Every time it's a Filipino film, I always go to the movies, no matter what it is. So yeah.
So it's a communal experience. So you want to go see a movie with your friends, not just watching it on streaming. Yes, and that's what we all should start doing, start supporting. Right, Belle? Right, Piolo?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, two last questions for our stars. Nicole.
In terms of like movies that I would love to see us Filipinos do more, I think I want to challenge us to like break away from the dramas and like let's make like a fantasy or a folklore or something because we have such a rich like Filipino like mythology, and I would love for us to like explore that through film. So,
Yeah, don't get us wrong. We're actually doing a lot of those stuff, you know, a lot of
Excited, yeah.
mythology and everything. But given the budget, given the reach, it's going to be hard to produce an expensive film if you're not supported globally. So yeah, but
I grew up on Encantadia, and that was like such a
yeah, but we need to have more reach to be able to come up with big budgeted films.
Yeah, so a lot of us here actually in this row were filmmakers here in America, and I think the thing that myself as a Filipino filmmaker, writer, director, sometimes actor, what I want to see and what we're trying to basically cultivate within our community of filmmakers here is to also show the specific Filipino American experience. And I feel like we sometimes feel like we don't have that support within, because obviously ABCBN, Star Cinema, you guys are coming in from the Philippines, and we love that because that's obviously part of our culture. But we also have this really specific culture of living in America and growing up here, and what I'm hoping to see is like more support from the general Filipino community to help like uplift those specific types of stories that we have like growing up here in America.
So you're saying that the Filipino stories, I'm sorry, the Filipino stories, you want to also see Filipino American representation the way you've lived your life here in the States.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's movies like really seminal movie called The Debut, which is all the Bosco families in that movie, and Deuce and Emerson and Darian Bosco are in my movie too, and to me that feels like it's the kind of DNA that we need to have supported within the Filipino community of, obviously uplifting specifically Filipino American stories in America.
Or maybe we can find some way or some show or movie that would be able to marry both. Yeah, awesome. Any last questions? Two last questions for Piolo and Belle. Do you like long walks on the beach or anything, guys? Why are you guys shy all of a sudden? What is going on with this group?
What about Miss Janelle? So she had.
Oh, Janelle and Tita.
See,
I have a request.
Janelle.
Do I have to stand up?
Janelle.
Excuse Maria. Since you said that whoever's the ABS-CBN big guy is here, hi. I just got started with Filipino teleserye and movie. And I really love the story of Be Careful with My Heart. In my dream, actually, if I have a lot of money, I would like to make a movie out of it. I know they're all big, and one of the guy is here. I mean, Juan Carlos? He's one of the kids. No, no. Another one. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, he looks like it. Anyway. And sorry, I like you too, Piolo. Belle is gonna do, but I've seen, because I watch, I watch, ano ba yun?
Ano daw?
Yeah, anyway, I would like Sikim Pao. So I went to their black and I would like to actually, if I like the movie, I don't mind having a black screening.
Yeah.
Something like this.
Black screening.
Yes, Tita.
Yes, Tita. Black screening.
Thank you. All right, block screening though for meet, greet, and buy. Oh, Patrick, last one, Patrick.
I just had a question of what American films do you like and maybe inspire you, and what kind of films do you want to see in the future in the Philippines?
Honestly, sometimes we do take inspiration from them, but at the same time, I can say that us Filipinos are so creative. We have so many great, like, creative juices that just come out. We can ask our creatives that actually, and we're good writers, we're good storytellers, and that's where we take inspiration from.
And we're great actors and performers.
Legend.
No, I guess we can do a collaboration with like a big studio in terms of what we have, the folklore, the mythology, and marry it with what we have with the superheroes, and then we can work around that.
But so that's absolutely true, but it also starts with us supporting our films like Meet, Greet, Buy, and when things like that blow up, it'll show Hollywood. Look, we have the ways and means to make things successful. Yes. So, thank you guys so much for this beautiful, beautiful time.
Thank you, everyone.
How about a group picture standing up with Piolo and Belle? How about that?
Is that okay with everybody? We'll do a group picture. Yeah, a selfie. Yeah, we'll do a selfie with everybody. You guys can stand up, so you can be in the back if you want. Ready?
Try to get closer. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more with this one. One more with this one. Okay.
Right, go.
Very close. How was it fitting?
Join the back.
It is 0.5. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right, shout out to Vince. Thank you guys. Give them a one round of applause. Come on, you can do better than that. Say thank you. Shout out to Bella's mom. Shout out to my mom for being here. Thank you guys. All right, and there's food to go. You have baon. That's like a real Filipino family thing. We have baon.